Welcome, summoners, to another League of Legends patch notes, and welcome to the Doc Demand Show. Ladies and gentlemen, patch 14.10 was an absolute monster. There was tons of item changes, mini reworks, and system changes, but that patch is 2 weeks old, and there's one question the show is dying to know. How is the state of the game today?
It's fucking terrible. It is insufferable. Every single person is a smurf. It's almost surprising when someone's actually new. It's fucking crazy.
It's time to go next, summoners, so without further ado, it's time for League of Legends Patch Notes 14.11. Here's the rundown. There's winners and losers in each patch, so we'll start talking about the losers first, because it's funnier. The first loser of this patch is poor people. Next up is Camille. This scissor sister is a bit too dominant in the top lane, so they're dropping her Q Precision Protocol movement speed down by 5% at all levels, and reducing the on-hit damage of her ultimate, Hextech Ultimatum.
Snip, snip, ladies.
Speaking of unwanted scissoring, Irelia gained a bit too much power from last patch's system changes, so Riot is trimming a little bit off the top and taking her base health growth down a few notches from 124 to 115. Everyone's nightmarish ex-girlfriend Jinx is sexually harassing too many players at bot lane, so she's had a restraining order placed back on her. Base attack damage growth down from 3.15 to 2.9. Karthus the Death Singer is crooning a sadder tune in the jungle. His clear speed was way too fast for this slow-moving bringer of death, so his skittles are taking a nerf. His Q, Lay Waste, is having its damage decreased. Mordekaiser er Nummer 1, but not for much longer in top lane. Monster damage cap on his passive, Darkness Rise, is down, as well as the damage, and his Q Obliterate has had its damage nerfed for late game. Esto triste. Finally, in the losers bracket, Toph's illegitimate sister Talia is getting sent back to earthbending school. Overpowered in both of her roles, her Q Threaded Volley is having its damage reduced. Next up are the winners, and everybody loves a winner, which is good because this patch has quite a few. Starting off is everyone's favorite glorious executioner, Draven. And he's getting the respect he so desperately craves from the audience. His passive adoration stacks lost on death are reduced to 50% from 75, and bonus gold per kill up 25 plus 2 per stack. Are you not entertained? Gangplank is a bit weak when it comes to the fist-fighting melee brawls he's been getting in, even after 2 bottles of rum and a keg of grog. So Riot is buffing his base health up by 30 and his armor growth up by 0.5. Gnar has been gnashing his teeth and hasn't been performing very well these last 2 patches, so he's getting some love on his base damage growth, up by 0.2, and an increase on the damage of his Q Boomerang Throw. Change is good, especially for everyone's favorite Voidbug. His Q Taste Their Fear is having its damage increased, so watch out.
Ready to...
No one was sadder than Lulu to see what happened to Shirelia's battle song last patch, so Riot is attempting to cheer up Lulu by giving her some loving head pats. The knock-up on her R Wild Growth has been increased to 1 second, and the cooldown has been shortened to match this champion's size. Yay! Master Yi is back from training and tougher than ever. Base growth stats are up, health growth up. Armor growth, up. Damage growth, up. Attack speed growth, up. So, who's ready to die in Alpha?
I was in Alpha. I was in Alpha.
Mouth breathers rejoice. One of the easiest champions in the game is getting buffed because she isn't face rolly enough. Nami's base AD is up by 3. Mana cost on her W, Ebb and Flow, is down, and her ultimate, Tidal Wave, now slows a flat 70%. Low elo players rejoice. R.I.P. Doge. But Nasus isn't taking this news lying down. He's back, and this time, it's personal. With his base attack damage growth up by 0.5 to 4, his E, Spirit Fire, mana cost reduced, and the armor shred increased. Pantheon has been in a sad place at top lane, so Riot is sending him back to basic training while he'll learn some new tricks. Charge damage on his Q, Comet Spear, and ultimate, Grand Starfall, now have an AP ratio for some reason. His W, Shield Vault, has been adjusted to max HP scaling, and his E, Aegis Assault, now grants armor and magic resistance after use. After these buffs, he'll be way stronger at top lane, and we'll all finally be safe from support Pantheon. Right?
This is Sparta!
Singed, the mad chemist, has only been mixing cocktails recently to numb the pain of his recent poor performance, but it's time to sober up. His Q, Poison Trail, has had its magic damage increased, and the cooldown on his ultimate reduced to a flat 100 seconds at all ranks. Smolder sucks. So his base AD is up from 57 to 60. Base health up from 575 to 606, and base health regen up from 3 to 4.5. His passive Dragon Practice had its critical strike scaling increased, and mana cost on his Q, Super Scorcher Breath, has been decreased, with its crit scaling increased as well. Roar. Now some champion adjustments, and first up is Ornn. He can now upgrade all the things. Legendary items now get pounded out into master items, and you can thank him later.
Thank you!
Okay, this is taking too long and I'm getting bored, so it's time for rapid fire mode.
Caitlyn, attack speed ratio buffed. Headshot damage and R damage nerfed. Hwei, QQ damage and QE damage nerfed. K'Sante, Q mana cost decreased. W damage reduction and hold duration nerfed. R healing buffed.
And slowing it back down, we've got a few item changes and adjustments before we hit the old dusty trail. And first up on the list is nerfs to Blackfire Torch. Burn damage down from 60 plus 12% AP to 45 plus 9 AP.
Incendi.
Celestial Opposition's passive now no longer triggers off Knight's Vow damage. Why was that even a thing? Essence Reaver's now cheaper. Little baby nerfs for Faded Ashes. AP down to 30 from 40, and burn damage is down to 15 from 21. Riot is sick of AD players complaining about getting bursted down, so have a cookie and build an immortal shield bow. Buffed from 530 to 720 at level 18. Infinity Edge is way too strong, so Riot is smashing it on a rock to dull the edge. Crit damage down 10%. You can't even trust a Knight's Vow these days. Health down from 300 to 200, and less ability haste from 15 to 10. Ouch. Static Shiv is getting a recharge this patch, getting an extra 7% movement speed, 5 more attack damage, 5 more attack speed, and Electro Spark damage going up from 90 to 120. Hey, idiots, stop buying so many serrated dirks. You've only got 2 hands. Or so says Riot. Maximum dirks allowed in the inventory capped at 1. Almost done, but it wouldn't be a complete patch without a couple of changes to the rune trees, now would it? First up, sharpen your blades because Cutdown is getting a buff. 8% damage to champions above 50% max health, excluding true damage, of course. Last but never least, Absorb Life just ain't sucking like it should. So the healing is being buffed from 2 to 17 to 2 to 20 based on level. So there you have it, summoners. Lots of champion adjustments with just a sprinkling of item and rune changes. So, was your champion a winner or a loser this patch? The show wants to know. And even though this content is sure to get demonetized, we hope you'll like, comment, and share this video with at least one person. Or you can join the cast and crew on Patreon, where you can support us and get access to exclusive content. Never forget, you are important, and to always rub your happiness.